So today we have here my very good friend Fritz Oakley. Is it Oakley or Oakley? How do
O-
you pronounce it?
Oakley.
Oakley.
Oakley, like Lee,
Okay.
like
E.
like
Oakley.
no, like Spike Lee.
Okay.
Oakley, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Cool. So today we have here a very close friend of mine, Fritz, and this morning when I woke up, I got to the office. I decided to check what was going on around the world. I saw a notification from you. I saw your video that you had done. I was like, oh, I can perfectly relate to that. And I was like, why not hit you up and let's have a conversation about it.
Sure.
So why now? Why did you decide to do a video today to post? Because I know it's been a while. I think your dad, yeah, he actually,
Yeah,
um,
a little over,
yeah,
a little over 5 years, like 6 years now.
wow.
Yeah.
Mine has been just 2 years. I think this year will be the third year.
Oh wow. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Thanks, bro. So how has it been like? I know you were talking about how he will always do well to call you, text to check up on you, to see how everything is doing. Then, as usual, you are chasing the money and you barely have time to reply those texts.
Mm-hmm. Okay, first of all, I'll just start by saying that I think we live and we learn, and sometimes we take certain things for granted until we don't have them anymore, or we take certain people for granted until we don't see them anymore. They are not in our lives anymore. And for me, I think I've just been having this feeling for like a long time, in regards to, I would go to an event or like I'll see, people. Let me just use church as an example. I'll go to church and I'll see people with their parents and you know I'll probably go to an event or like a wedding
Mm-hmm.
and be like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
that father and mother of the bride and groom. And then I'm just telling myself, I'm just sitting there telling myself, ah. So on my wedding day, my I wouldn't have anybody to represent me, even though it seems very insignificant or very corny or childish. Things are very important.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, and as a young man, a young man who is, I'm getting ready to get married.
Oh,
All of
please, I want to be your best man.
yeah. Yo, this best man list there, a lot of people who are.
I beg. You know,
Okay,
rep my own. You know, rep my own.
so I think I'll just have like 10 best men, and then solve the issue. Yeah,
Eh, eh,
that
eh,
I don't make enemies after my wedding. And
eh.
sometimes they're just like conversations like you wish you could have with your dad.
That's true.
Um, we I growing up, I didn't. When I was growing up, I wasn't too close to my dad until I became a man. I said, like I after high school, I got into class.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you're coming into being basically.
Mhm.
And so it was then that myself and my dad, were bonding and everything. I remember,
Yeah.
um, then I was living in the UK. I was in school. I was in my master's like a couple of
Mhm.
years ago, and he would come and visit me. He'd be complaining about how business is not moving well, and that
Yeah.
he's really low on funds and stuff like that. But some way, somehow, he would. I don't know how, but he would still give me money, and I kind of
Mhm.
feel bad.
Yeah.
And I remember one time we went to the shopping mall at Croydon, and he just sat down. He just took in a deep breath, and he was like, "Oh, um, to be a man is not easy, but you know what? Yeah, And I'm just looking back. I remember the sweater he was wearing,
Mhm.
the sweater he was
Mhm.
wearing, the cardigan he was wearing, and I remember the spot very well. I think it was a place in Central Croydon, like in front of the Santander Bank, and
Okay.
we bonded like we really. That's when I was getting more and more closer to him. I would open
Yeah.
more about
Yeah.
a lot of things. He would talk about like marriage and like
Mhm.
marrying the right person and how much marrying my mom has really helped him. Entirely. And
Mhm.
um, I was privileged to have spent the last Christmas with him. I think
With him. Okay.
my last Christmas with him was 2014. Um,
Wow.
at that time, yeah, he decided not to go back to Ghana. So it was just myself, him, and my aunt, and then my two little cousins in
Mhm.
London. And, I didn't know that was the last time I would be taking a picture with him. It
Mhm.
was just, I think we were just goofing around and, I was
Yeah.
pictures. I was just, making fun of him about how big his belly was, as
Mm.
if I grew up, my belly was like fast.
Wow.
I relocated to the United States, and
Mhm.
you know, um, even the funny thing was initially he wasn't even in agreement of me coming to the United States.
You coming? Okay.
He was like, "Oh yeah, you're done with your masters, just come back to Ghana and come and
Just
work."
come
Or
and work.
I was like, "Nah, I feel like there's more out there, So, but yeah, fast forward, I relocated to the United States then, and then I went back to Ghana briefly
Mhm.
for I think like a week or two for vacation. So I went and I remember so well. He was seated in the living room, and then the song he was listening to was it was a it was I was it was a I was I mean people will call it a gospel song. I call it an inspirational song. It was called
Mhm.
"I Look to You." I,
Yeah.
yeah, I look to you by Whitney Houston, and you can
Of
literally
course.
see tears run like like run down like his face, and I didn't want to be too invasive, and how the culture is in Africa. You can't
Yeah.
just go to your dad,
What's your
and,
dad and
you will not run like that. Yes,
act up that way? Yeah.
yeah, that about people have the privilege of that was wrong with you, stuff like that. But I
Mhm.
didn't understand. So time came for me to go back to the States, and um, he would he said, "Oh, I'll be seeing you in the States shortly. I think this is like I think a month prior." So he had, he just waved at me goodbye. Oh, so see you later. He says he's busy. I have to go for a meeting, so somebody would have to go and drop me off at the airport. I remember, so I think
Mhm.
that was my mom and my youngest sister. But when I go back to the States, every time he would text me, it would take me like 3 or 4 days to get back to
To
him.
respond. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, yo, right now, me a guy, can't nobody know. And in my head, I thought it was always going to be available. And even this
Yeah.
time that I left or whatever, I
Mhm.
didn't know that he was going through so much for the family.
Mhm.
I think his business had collapsed at that time, so he was really
Wow.
much. And this whole time, I didn't even know. And
Wow.
that's what we call sacrifice because he made it look as if
Yeah. Yeah.
okay,
Everything was fine.
yes. And I think my mom really did a good job by really shielding him because at the end of the day, my mom pretty much
Mhm.
covered his nakedness, and that is what every
Mhm.
wife or every spouse is supposed to do. She
Supposed
covered
to do.
the
Yeah.
spouse. I didn't even have any idea. So he had texted. I think we had spoken sometime. I think a week to my birthday. We had text. We had spoken once. We spoke once, and then I think he texted me about him coming to America. I didn't respond to him.
Mhm.
I saw
Mhm.
it, but I was too busy chilling. Downtown Manhattan. Liberty Statue. I remember we're having like a party on this yacht,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I was chilling and everything. And so, um, um, I had spoken to my mom then, and then my mom said, "Oh yeah, your dad said he's coming and blah 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 blah. So
Mhm.
I might as well just meet him at the JFK airport." I said, okay, whatever. I wasn't even paying attention to them. I'm like, yo, maybe
Yeah.
I'm going to chill or whatever. So I'm on the yacht, chilling, chilling, chilling. And then we get up, and I see my aunt coming from the UK, and that was pretty unusual because my aunt rarely calls me. Like,
Close to.
it's like, "Oh yeah, what's up?" I was like, "I'm good." It's like, "Oh, are you okay?" I'm like, "I was like, oh yeah." Have I heard anything? Am I heard anything? What? And then she hesitated for one, and later she said, "Oh, your dad is normal." I was like, "Oh, please."
Wow.
Your my dad. Because he sent me a WhatsApp message the day off. he sent me a WhatsApp message, and then today it hurts me because I should have responded.
Hmm.
Oh, I should have responded at least, just so that some way, somehow, wherever he is now, he wouldn't have felt like, I had abandoned him or I don't care
Yeah, yeah,
about him. I felt like I should have done more to show how much I love him. And I know that because of toxic masculinity, it's hard for even a son to tell a father that daddy, I love you, or even a brother to
yeah,
tell a
yeah,
brother, yo,
yeah.
bro, I love you, you know. And
That's true.
um I so I'm like, nah, like I kind of felt like he was always excited to respond to my messages. So I'm
Hmm.
like, oh nah, let me text him first and see, what's up. I didn't even want to call my mama first, so I had called,
Yeah.
I texted him. Most of the time he's online because my dad never sleeps like that. He didn't respond. I'm like, yo, are you there? I remember I was using this Samsung Galaxy phone that I didn't even, I didn't even finish paying for because I was trying that.
Yeah.
Um, I said, yo, are you there? Are you there? He didn't respond. And I'm like, there's
Yeah.
something wrong. Then I waited and I stayed up all night. I'm calling my family, nobody's answering. And then I see somebody make a Facebook post and then they mention my
His
dad's
dad.
name. Oh, so and so, RIP, life is so short. I was like, ah.
Ooh.
So then I called. Then my mom ended up calling me back and said, "Oh, I shouldn't worry about anything anybody's saying because my
And everything is
mom,
fine.
the whole time she knew about it, but she didn't want me to act in a very emotional manner." And
Mhm.
I was taking my exams. I was in New York Film Academy. I was
Oh,
finishing
okay.
second semester. I was doing musical theater. So
Mhm.
um, so it kind of like so she this whole time she was like, "Oh yeah, your dad is fine," and blah, 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 but he's not feeling well. He's in the hospital. I'm like, "Wait, I know my dad so well. If he's not feeling well, at least text
You
me."
would have, yeah, text you and tell you about it.
So this news came on a Friday, bro. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, every day I would text. Sometimes I would text like I am mad, like literally. And then gradually reality began to set in. So even before my mom actually confirmed that my dad had passed on a week, about
Hmm.
8, 9 days like
Hmm.
after, I knew that my dad wasn't anymore. And I'm like,
Yeah.
God, like I took all these things for granted. I took my relationship with my dad for granted.
Hmm.
What if I responded to him at least? I would have given him on his deathbed, he would have had the assurance that,
Your Fritz is fine.
that kind of thing. And today
Yeah.
it hurt me. I wish I spent more time with him as well because there was so much wisdom that I could have gained from my dad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um and I know people have this mentality, especially like growing up in Africa. Oh, fine, yeah, that kind of thing. But I always say this: my dad wasn't a perfect man, and I don't
Of
think there's
course.
a man on the
There's
planet
no. Yeah. No
that
one
is.
is perfect,
But your dad is your dad.
no matter what you do.
Yes, and you are literally his legacy. You
Yeah.
came out of his loins, literally.
Hmm.
So like there was so much that I felt like I needed to learn from him. But there's one thing I'm always grateful for, that he made sure that with the help of my mom, obviously, that we had the best education. We had the best, we had the best in life. And like I said earlier, when I was in the UK, my school fees was pretty expensive. For those of you
Hmm.
who've ever been to the UK, or if you know, it, it was expensive. And
Yeah.
this whole time, I had no idea he was going through a financial crisis. Some way,
Mm.
somehow, himself and my mom really managed to
Go through to get everything
go through,
sorted.
and I'm like, I didn't have to. I could have come back to Ghana, to come and hustle, and Ghana and connection. You need to know somebody here.
You buy. You buy.
Exactly. So every now and then, um, I get a bit emotional. Every now and then, I tear up. Sometimes when I'm alone,
Hmm. Hmm.
I'm like, damn, I miss my dad. Once in a while, iPhone has this feature where every once in a while, like memories
You
will
have,
pop.
yeah, will pop up and you see everything.
I see my dad's picture, and then it's just and I know that there are people who you'd say that, oh, this is my papa or this is my dad
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
everything, but nothing like having a biological father.
No, no,
They are
there's nothing like,
no matter what. Of course, there
yeah.
are people who come in our lives and act as fathers, but your biological father is a whole. It's on a different the like
Different, yeah, different
that
pedestals. It's one. It's just one. There can never be a replacement.
they can never be replaced. And so having learned that, you know, um, I think it taught me so much so that I had to make a conscious effort to
Mhm.
make time for my mother.
Yeah.
Yes, my mom, she's aging gradually, and age is something that it's like nobody wants to talk about. But the thing is
Mhm.
that when you
It
grow,
happens, of course.
I remember my mom used to be so strict those days. If I see my mom coming, I need to run and hide. But now I call her by her first name. I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, you don't respect. That's how much my mom has. It is gradually,
Yeah.
you know, times have changed, things have changed, and she doesn't have the energy that she used to have
She
anymore.
used to have.
But of
Yeah.
God is still her strength. But if you be very
Yeah.
realistic,
Mhm.
once you're aging, it comes with some pedigree of meekness and weakness.
Yeah.
And
That's
so,
true.
um, yeah, and I'm like, no, I need to be there for my mom. And having lost my dad, it's like she's literally lost her best friend. So now
You
we're
have to be there for her.
yeah, there for her. So
Yeah. To fill that gap.
yeah, no day goes by that I don't call my mom. Or
Wow.
yes, yeah. Before I even got on this interview or this,
Mhm.
chat, I was on the phone with her. We talk like all the
Mhm.
time. Sometimes if I'm at work, my phone is
Mhm.
on my side, and we're just talking. Only
Mhm.
because I feel like I owe her so much. This is the least
Yeah.
I do for her. She told me she doesn't need my money. So if
Mhm.
she doesn't need my money, then what? She needs my time. She needs my company, really. I know,
Mhm.
like we are in different like continents right now.
Continent. Yeah.
Yeah, but I try as much as possible to make a conscious effort
Mhm.
to be
To make
there
her feel loved. Yeah.
to make her
Yeah.
feel. Last year during her birthday, I'm like, nah, I need to do something for my mom, and
Yeah. I
I
think
just
that's when you came down, right?
yes, I
Yeah.
came to Ghana last year, and even though it was a very tight time for me doing work, but I had to make that excuse. I'm like, nah, I have to run for a family emergency, and of course, it wasn't a lie necessarily. I have
Mhm.
to be there for my mom, so I
Yeah.
ran to Ghana impromptu, and I threw a surprise birthday party for her with in the guise of, oh, I'm doing a party for myself. She had no idea that
Mhm.
it was for her, so it was
Mhm.
until the day of the party that she knew that this was
She
all
knew that.
about her.
Yeah.
So
I think I saw some videos and pictures
correct,
around and they're like, wow.
correct.
Yeah. You guys really did a good job in making her feel loved, you know. And I quite remember when just before my dad passed,
Mhm.
he came to see me actually 2 weeks before.
Mhm.
And when he came, he spoke to my father-in-law at length. And then after he was like, he wants to talk to me. And he started talking, and from the way he was talking, I knew that he there was something he really wanted to tell me.
Mm.
But then almost every time he wants to speak, someone comes around, then he stops. Then finally, I was like, "Oh, all right, it's time for us to go." And you want to get to Accra, I'll call you. He gets to Accra. Following week, he says, "Oh, he's not feeling well. He's going for checkup." He goes for checkup. Oh, I'll be released tomorrow. Everything is fine. Do the video calls and everything. On a Sunday morning, my mom calls me and says that, "Oh, say they want to do extra tests, so they are taking my dad to a different hospital." And like, oh, did they carry him? I was like, oh, no, he walked himself into the ambulance and everything. And actually, that's done. He texted me. He texted me, and it's basically the same thing that he usually texts when I'm at work. I think I wrote it in your post, your comments. You go like, alright, how are things going at work? As I always tell you, when you have struggles or difficulties, take a pause, pray to God, and my God will answer you.
Mm.
And that was basically the last text that he left me. Little did I know that that was the end. Because there are times that he will text me at work, I see it, I see the message pop up, I read it, then I put the phone back down.
Yeah, you don't.
And I go like, oh,
Yeah.
I'll respond to him later. Then before I realize I've forgotten, I go home, then he goes like, did you see my text this afternoon? And I go like, oh yeah, I saw it, but I got involved in documents, and you're like, you go like, oh, okay. go and get some rest. And like actually took me about 2 weeks. I remember when the time came for the funeral and everything. I actually was not able to cry.
Yeah,
So
like that.
a bit, yeah, let's say like
Yeah.
everything was closed up in the service. No, even that. So we read the tribute. That was when I accepted that he was gone, and that's his picture behind me up there.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's his picture. I made someone do it for me. And funny enough, that photo shoots that we did, we actually begged him to do it. He is someone who doesn't like taking pictures or anything. You hardly get him in a picture unless he's in church preaching or something. And little did we know that that photo shoot was going to end up being his cover photos and everything. And it's funny how people do not um, honor or see any value in the fact that they wake up in the morning or during the day, they see a text or they have a call coming from their mom, their dad, or even their guardian. I am around people who sometimes they have these calls coming and they go like, "Oh, that cry,
A hard drink.
oh, mental hygiene," and I go like, "Yo, you have no idea what you're saying. Wait till he's gone, and you realize that these calls, these things, you should be like so happy anytime you see them coming in. Yeah,
Um, like rightfully said, ultimately, I think that even I think it cuts across
hmm
family and people who matter to us.
yeah,
It's best we give them their flowers while they are here.
yeah,
Don't wait till tomorrow to show somebody appreciation. It doesn't even have to be a biological father. Um, because life in itself is very it's short. And I get it. From here as Christians, we believe. I personally, I'm of the belief that, we would
hmm
go, into glory and spend eternity
yeah.
with the Father,
Mm.
obviously, by living righteous and everything. But, um,
Down here on earth,
yes,
the
what
right thing has to
on
be
earth,
done.
try as much as possible and give people their flowers about their life and don't wait till
Yeah,
it's gone. Because
yeah.
and the reason why I don't, when somebody I'm not too close to, or somebody that I probably knew and I wasn't too close, so I never really checked on them. And then when they pass on or whatever, I'm not really a fan of. I know it's normal. People will do RIP where da, 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 but why wait?
Why wait till the person is gone?
And I think somebody said something the other days. Um, your friends or your family will not cross the streets to bring you soup or medicine when you are sick, but they will
Mhm.
travel thousands of miles or millions of miles to come
To
and visit.
come to your funeral.
Um, and it's we need to all of us, myself, you inclusive, everybody
Yeah, that
change.
mindset has to change.
We really need to change, and I
Yeah.
think and this unnecessary competition and hate is unnecessary. Like it's just crazy to
hmm
me. You just build hate um of this. You just hate somebody just by looking at them, or you just hate somebody just by but then somebody you know, or maybe your brother has done something to you, and
yeah,
it's okay to me for me personally. I use myself as an example. For my sanity, I distance myself when I realize that friendship or relationship is going to mess
it's
me
going.
quite.
Yeah, yeah,
However, generally, um, I'll be there for you. I'm not going to hold any form of resentment towards you because at the end of
mhm,
the day, where are we going after this?
yeah,
Vanity on vanity. So I think it's a lesson for all of us. It's a lesson to all of us. And for me, I think I know you're into ministry, and I know
yeah,
that per what I have seen on the outside from social media, and me and you like talking everyone, I do realize that you have a very close relationship with your wife and your in-laws and even your family
yeah.
in your own nuclear family and your
Mhm,
your your mom and everybody else. And I think that it's a value that is very, very important in the church because in the
Mm.
church, what I've noticed is that there are a lot of people who have time. Listen, I don't have any issue with you honoring your father, your spiritual father or your spiritual head. But I know people, I know
Big
people,
issue.
I know people who would sacrifice and sow seeds to their spiritual fathers,
That's right.
and
And
their
forget
mother,
their biological. Yeah, yeah.
there's no honor
It's
in that.
sad.
There's no honor in that.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
It doesn't make any sense. Oh, my papa, my papa. Yes, I would love you, I respect you, but at the end of the day,
Mm.
I also need to also make sure I need to
Yeah,
honor, you know, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
It's that because I'm not going to mention names, but I have a friend of mine who so obsessed with this man of God, so much so that he would rather give money to his pastor and then his mother is somewhere in the village struggling. And then I see,
Struggling.
yes, I'm like, are you okay? Are you, So
He doesn't read his Bible.
it's,
And your fathers. And your parents.
my mom
And
actually
come
bombarded
on.
mom with money. Like,
Yeah.
oh,
She doesn't even need to ask.
she
She
doesn't even
doesn't need all right, but
she doesn't even need to ask.
yeah.
Conversation, this table there, if we start now, I'm willing for another day. But I'm
You
sorry, if we start now, we are not going to finish.
know good end. You know good end. Yeah. Yeah. It's well. But it's been fun talking to you. Um
Thank you.
let's let's link up another time to
Definitely.
speak more about other pertinent issues,
Sure.
especially those surrounding us, people of our age, and the things that we as Christians are neglecting to do. Like you're just talking about someone who would rather prefer to sow seeds and honor their men of God, forget their parents at home, who need some money to buy a drug or two. And these people will go to any length to make some wild funeral when these people are out of their lives. And and I always say such people they don't take their time to read their Bibles. They'll prefer to hear what their man of God is saying. They don't even make time to know the God that their man of God is speaking about.
Let me not let me. I know I don't want to talk about it, but let me just
Please
say.
enter.
So a while ago,
Yeah.
I was I have a lot of men of God, and I'm glad. I have men of God who
Praise Jesus.
who I'm friends with, or
Mhm.
whom I serve under, or who I see as my spiritual covering and all of that.
Mhm.
That is,
Mhm.
don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but those people also have their own children, biological children to think about. They
That's
have
right. That's
to
right.
think about, and mind you, those people are pastoring or fathering thousands of people.
Mhm.
Now, for those of us who are fortunate enough to have prayerful parents, like you were saying, like your dad and your mom and everyone.
Mhm.
There was this time where I was very ill. I was very ill, and at that time, I didn't want to. I didn't want to call anybody. I think I attempted to call a man of God, and there was no answer.
Yeah.
I sent
Yeah.
message, nobody responded. He didn't respond, or neither did
Mhm.
the or anybody. And I was just laying there, and I kind of felt like I was running out of breath. So I'm just laying there, and then I get a call from my mother.
Yeah.
Said, "Are you okay?" And that was weird. She said, "I have a feeling there's something wrong with you. Can we
Mhm.
pray?
Wow.
Can we pray?" And she said a prayer for me. She declared healing and blessings over my life and everything.
Mhm.
She ended the call, and I'm not trying to sound um, dramatic over here, but
Mhm.
for some funny reasons, at that instant, the chest pains just vanished,
Wow.
and I was just sitting there,
Wow. Like
and
who
I,
asked that?
where was my papa? In quotes.
Yeah. Yeah. When you needed him. Yeah.
And it brings us back to the essence of family because everybody will leave you. Your family will stay regardless.
Yeah.
When you're saying pride, they'll still stay regardless.
Yeah.
I've said this before that God, of course, has sent prophets and ordained prophets and apostles, gathered leaders and everything. I kind of feel like right from our household, our parents have been our first prophets.
Yeah.
Prayed for us. They have covered us. One time I went to Ghana. I think my recent trip to Ghana. I think the night before I would leave, I saw my mom up. She was um I think 2 a.m. She was on her knees like God.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Pray. She was crying. God protect my children. Protect my children. And so for me, family, my parents especially, and my mom, I'm not joking with him because that covering is very important. Yes, our
Very
spiritual
important.
covering is
Extremely.
very important, but I do believe that family is everything.
Yeah.
But I don't have any more submissions.
Yeah. I think you've spoken well enough. And wow. Okay. Let's just end it here.
Yeah, we will come
And
on today.
yeah, we'll surely come back again, and we'll surely come back. But before you go, please, something small for the boys.
What is something?
Oh, you mentioned your dad. You once came to Ghana. Your dad was listening to a nice song. And
Listen, bro. I just ate. You'll be surprised. I just ate gobe, and when you eat gobe, your vocals is
you have been gobelized.
yes. What? Oh, you think it's a garine or
Ah,
zomi Africa
so
crack?
many. Ah, my God. One fan could see uncle.
There be.
All right. So, thanks so much for being on this with me, having this discussion. Thank you for pouring out your heart. And I know this will go a long way to bless someone else who would later watch. Thank you so much for making time off your job. I think it's about 5 hours from here. It's 7:25 now in Ghana.
It's 2:14, like 2 p.m. Yes.
I hope your boss didn't send any text or anything.
Yeah. I haven't seen any notifications on my email or my Teams
Great.
app. Oh, I believe pretty quiet over there.
So thanks so much once again for joining me this day,
Sure.
this evening.
Thanks for having.
And good.
And, send my best regards to your wife.
I will do that. She's
Who,
disappeared.
who is always making fun of me? I don't know why, but
the thing is, she she likes to hear you sing and everything. You're like, is that Fritz? Time to sing, time to sing. And I'm like, he doesn't just get up and sing. Like, time. We do voice notes for me. And like, yo.
oh, but yeah, she's cool people. Hopefully,
Yeah,
yeah, we'll try and link up. I told you earlier, I'm planning to come to Ghana soon. So let's hear back. Right.
sure. All right. Thanks once again, bro. Let's catch up.
Well, welcome. Bye bye. Have a good one, bro.
Peace.